Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heal vs Babyface, and you catch me at the beginning of the third boss of the 4 that released on the Siege of Orgrimmar Raid Finder difficulty this week. And this fight is all about ad management. Cannot stress that enough. Now, first things first, you see that bar that I have there? It's broken up into 4 segments. 3 of them are full. That is my level of corruption. The higher that is full, the lower the damage I am dealing to the boss. I must expel my corruption to be able to do maximum damage. So let's get on to its abilities, and I'll show you how to do that a little later. Firstly, it does Unleashed Anger, which will inflict 300,000 physical damage. This is increased by something called Self-Doubt, which will add 40% damage per application. Tanks, get ready to rotate. It does Blind Hatred, where it creates a beam that moves around the place. We've seen this a couple of times already in the video. If players get in contact with it, it'll deal 60,000 shadow damage per second. Move away. It also does something called Fusion. You see these ads that are around the place. Every expelled corruption that reaches the amalgamation will actually increase its damage by 2% for 15 seconds. And it also deals an Icy Fear, which deals 41,250 frost damage to all players every 3 seconds. The damage increases as the amalgamation loses health. And it also does Frayed. When the amalgamation reaches 50% health, and for every remaining 10% health it loses on top of that, it will spawn an unleashed manifestation of corruption. We'll get onto those in a bit. Now, this is called Look Within, and this is your own personal trial to expel your corruption. I had 4 ads. I've taken care of 2 of them. 3 of them have these shields in front of them. Therefore, I must get behind them to DPS. If I don't get behind them, if I stay in front, it will simply deflect the damage. And you can see the debuff time ticking down. I have to defeat all of these in the time given. That is my trial. But when I come out as a DPSer, all my corruption has been cleansed, and I can now deal maximum damage onto the boss. Tanks and healers, you have your own personal test as well. Mine was the Test of Serenity. Healers, you have Test of Reliance, and you must defeat a greater corruption, and you're aided by several allies. Now, it will deal a number of abilities. The firstly being Disheartening Laugh, which will inflict shadow damage to all of the enemies in the room over 6 seconds, so get ready to heal through it. It'll also do Pit of Despair, which will inflict 50,000 shadow damage every second to all enemies within the area, and also Lingering Corruption, which will inflict 165,000 shadow damage if it's not dispelled from the target within 10 seconds. Yes, it's a magical effect and must be dispelled. Tanks, you have the Test of Confidence, and you'll have to try and survive for a minute against a Titanic corruption. Now, it'll deal Titanic Smash, surprisingly enough, which will inflict 275,000 shadow damage to anyone in a cone in front of it, so make sure you move through. It also deals Corruption. Every successful Titanic Smash that lands will give you a stack of corruption, dealing 5,500 shadow damage per stack every second. Therefore, don't get hit, don't let it increase. It'll also do Hurl Corruption, where it will surprisingly hurl a ball of corruption at the target, inflicting 165,000 shadow damage. It's interruptible, make sure you interrupt. And it also does Burst of Corruption, which inflicts 110,000 shadow damage to all enemies. Not too much you can do about that. And Piercing Corruption, which inflicts 200,000 physical damage to the target, and that cannot be absorbed. So just be careful with some cooldowns maybe. Unleashed Corruptions. Whenever a player defeats an element of corruption during the tests, it will be unleashed into the normal realm. What we see here, this is why all these ads keep popping up. And I say, as soon as these ads spawn, kill, 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 because when they come into the real world, they get Foul Link, and their damage is copied to the boss. the more ads that are out, the stronger the boss you're going to probably wipe. Now, the manifestations of corruption have Burst Anger, which inflict 30,000 shadow damage to all players within the zone, and it'll deal residual corruption when it dies, and it leaves behind a black orb on the ground which will periodically deal 30,000 shadow damage to all players until it's soaked up. You notice that I actually had to go and soak up another one because people weren't picking them up, and I've been taken back into the trial. Now, you must have at least 25 free space on your corruption bar to soak one. If you have full corruption, you will not be able to soak up one of these orbs, so get onto them really quickly. And the essence of corruptions, those little ones that you can see, deal something called expel corruption, where they'll cast a ball of corrupted energy outward from the caster. It will deal 45,000 damage to anyone that's in its path, and when it reaches the amalgamation, it will increase its damage by 2% for 15 seconds. Ad management, ad management, ad management. Keep on top of the ads and you'll do fine in this fight. But it's pretty darn cool and my favourite, I've got to say, so far. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and also Twitch for live streaming. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.